Hello Pixie Doll, welcome or welcome back to the channel. I'm Krystle, aka the Wholesome Witch, and today we're getting into another Coffee Coven Chat. In my last video, I mentioned I was going to be making my autumn TBR list, and there was quite a few of you who expressed interest in knowing what was going to be on it. So today we are going to talk all about the witchy fiction books I plan on reading this autumn season. So grab yourself a nice warm beverage like I have, maybe a pen and paper in case you want to write down any of these suggestions, and let's get into it. Now you may notice I'm sitting here, I don't know if you can see actually, but I'm in a blanket. My coffee is piping hot and I might look a bit like a linebacker because I have on two sweaters, guys, two sweaters. My house is freezing. It's freezing in here. So it's September and this week has gotten quite chilly in Scotland. The temperatures have dropped. When I've gone out in the morning to the gym, it's been like 1, 2, 3 outside, which is cold for September because in December here, it's also 1, 2, and 3 outside. Anyways, there's a drastic difference in the temperatures these last few days. I refuse to turn on the heat because it's still September. And I don't want to. So instead, I'm bundled up in my sweaters, I have my blanket, and this coffee could not be hotter. It's actually burning my hands to hold a cup. However, I figured it was appropriate because we're talking about books. And books are all about being cozy and comfy. Anyways, in case you're wondering why I look so bundled up and my coffee, maybe if you can see the steam, is so scorching hot, that's why. It's because I'm freezing. And I do, as much as I don't like it to be hot outside in the summer, I love for the house to be cozy warm in the autumn and winter. Cozy, make it hot. I like a warm house. So I'm not at my breaking point yet, but I might just have to turn the heat on sometime soon. And I really don't want to, but here we are. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through a stack of books that I haven't read yet and I'm going to read this autumn. And then I have a couple of series that I'm going to share with you guys at the end of the video that I have read and I highly recommend if you haven't read them yet. So let's get started. Okay, so the first two books I'm going to get into are by Heather Fawcett, and they are Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries, and the second book in the series, Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. So first off, these books, the covers are so good. They're cute and whimsical, and they are what made me pick the books up in the first place. And after reading the back, I was absolutely sold. And my girl got me these for Christmas last year, and I fully intended on reading them last winter. But I mentioned in my last video, I've been on a real non-fiction reading kick. So this autumn and winter, I'm dedicating to fiction again because I miss it. And autumn and winter is just the perfect time for the cozy reads. So the first book in the series, it focuses on Emily Wilde, hence the name, and she is writing her Encyclopedia of Faeries book. So she goes to a village, meets the townsfolk, there's a romantic interest, of course, and she seems determined and witty and smart and just everything I look for in a main character. So it's her adventure of being in this town and writing this book, and I am really excited to get into it. And then the second book in the series, I believe will just carry on with the plot from the first book. I haven't wanted to read anything about the second book because I don't want to spoil the first one. But I asked for them both on my Christmas wish list last year because I have no doubt I'm going to love this first book and I'm going to immediately need to read the second book. So if you haven't read these ones yet, I think they look really great, and I would highly recommend adding them to your own autumn TBR list. I need some coffee because I need to warm up. Okay, I can do this. The second book in my list is A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley, and I started this one. I got to page 43 of this book when I was in Toronto in the summer. I read it on the plane, and then, like I said, nonfiction was taking over my life, so I didn't continue the book once I got back here. The start of the book was really good, so I'm excited to continue reading it. And to be honest, I'll probably start with this one because I've already started it and I really do want to finish it. And the book centers around the main character, Mariel, And she's supposed to be like the most powerful witch in centuries, but she actually can't use her magic properly. And she accidentally summons a demon, and her mother is really horrible and hard on her. And, you know, adventure, chaos, romance ensues. So this one, I saw this one in the bookstore and I was just like, I just read the title and I was like, I have to have this book. So based on my first 40 pages of read, I do highly recommend, and I can't wait to finish this one. So the next book on my list is The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce the last name, and I hope I didn't butcher it too badly. However, this book I have seen recommended in quite a few places, and I'm very excited to get into this one. It centers around a witch named T, and basically she's the only bone witch in her family, which makes her kind of the black sheep and a little bit ostracized. And this one is the start of a full series. And again, I don't know how many books in the series are written yet because I haven't checked. If I enjoy this one, I will look into it and see about getting some of the others. And if you guys have read any of these ones that I'm recommending, by the way, comment below and let me know. Let me know if you liked it or not. No spoilers, but just let me know what you thought of the books, because I would love to hear your opinions and thoughts as well. And this one, she is basically learning how to harness her power. She trains under the guidance of an older bone witch to help her. And, you know, there's war brewing in the kingdom and she's probably going to have to save the day type of vibe, type of energy. So this sounds really good for me. Fantasy, witchy, magic, kind of outcast main character who has to, you know, own her strength and learn and probably become more powerful than all the people that are having her feel like an outcast. Perfect. Love it. Love the plot and really excited to dive into it. Then we have one that's a little bit different. It is called Folk by Zoe Gilbert. So this book sounds really interesting and really different. It's not a witchy fiction per se, but it's fantasy, it's magic. It basically focuses on the villagers that live on a remote island called Neverness, and each have their own kind of trials, tribulations, things that they are moving towards, looking for. The back of the book says it takes place over the course of a generation, and just all of the trials and gossip and adventures and heartbreaks that kind of entail throughout that time. And some of the words on the back of the book to describe it are kind of exactly what I look for in a fiction book. And I don't usually read ones like this. This one's quite different. Most of my fiction really revolves around some type of witchy magic, but this is more folky magic and characters that are different and special and magical in their own ways. Yeah, some of the reviews in the back, they call it bewitching, beautiful, gripping, thrilling, sensual, magical, haunting, extraordinary, immersive, dripping with life. So all good words, all things that I definitely look for in a book. So if you haven't checked this one out, I haven't seen anybody recommend this one, but I found it in a little bookstore here in the Borders, and I haven't actually seen it in any other bookstore, but highly recommend checking it out. Next one on my list, also not witch fiction, but magical nonetheless, and it has a cat. So I saw this one in the store and I just couldn't. I had to buy it. It's called The Ghost Cat by Alex Howard. The cover is very enchanting and pretty, and the story of a ghost cat, come on, I don't need to know anything else. That's all I need to know, and I'm gonna buy it. So the story starts in 1902 when the poor little kitty has his final day on Earth. And then it follows him for 120 years. So it's basically a kitty's view of 120 years of history. And I guess the people who come and go throughout the building he lived in over that time, which is just fascinating to me. I've never read a book like that. It also takes place in Edinburgh, and I'm partial to books that take place in the UK. I just love the atmosphere that it sets always. This was kind of a must-buy as soon as I seen it. So next book is The Awakening by Nora Roberts, and it's the first book in a newer series called The Dragonheart Legacy. So Nora Roberts is a huge author. She's known for writing like romance and romance mystery kind of novels, but she has some incredible series that are magic themed or have fairies, witches. They take place in places like Ireland And every series of hers that revolves around magic and witchcraft, I have adored so very much. They kind of give me everything I want in like a fantasy, romance, magical kind of story. And this one, well, I got this one, I think I got it 2 years ago, and I totally forgot because when I got it, it was the first book and it just came out. So what I tend to do with series very often is I wait. I wait until all of the books are out, or at least like the first 3 if there's going to be like many, but usually hers come in series of 3. And I hate that feeling of finishing a book and knowing that another one's coming out, but you don't know when. So I like to wait until more in the series are released so that I can jump into the next one. And I feel like on like witchy fiction book lists or like fantasy book lists, Nora Roberts is never on there. But I tell you, her magical series are so much fun. And I don't read her regular books. I've never read one that wasn't magic based or witch based. But the ones that are, they're so good, guys. This one centers around a girl named Breen, and her dad kind of disappeared when she was 12, said he was coming back, never came back. She doesn't know what happened to him. And she ends up going to Ireland, which is where her father was from. Which of course is going to lead her on a path of destiny and magic and most likely romance. Things that she could have never seen coming. And I kind of love that. And it's about her kind of taking her life back. She's in a place she's just not happy with, her job, things like this, and she's just ready for a change. So traveling to Ireland seems like a great idea. That's kind of how a lot of her main characters start, is they start a new life somewhere because of whatever circumstance made them want to leave their old life, and they fall into enchanted realm of magic and destiny, really. I like books about people starting their lives over. I find them inspiring. So add that with some magic and fantasy and enchantment and romance, because I do like a little romance in my novels. I'm sold. So whenever Nora Roberts puts out a new series that has magical themes, I'm gonna probably buy it because some of my favorite series are from her. The next one is Rewitched by Lucy Jane Wood, and this one I think is on everybody's witchy TBR list, to be honest. I've had this one did I get this one last Christmas as well? I did. I got it last Christmas, fully intending to read it in the winter, and I didn't. So yeah, the cover is adorable. It's clearly based in the fall season, has a pumpkin on the back, it's got leaves. It has a little kitty on the house, which is always a cute detail for me. The spine is so pretty, look at that. And it has a full moon, leaves, and a kitty on the spine. I honestly wouldn't need to read the back of this book. Just based off the name and the cover, I would buy it. Because don't judge a book by its cover, but I definitely do. Let me know if you do that in the comments, because guilty, very guilty. So this book centers around Belladonna, and it's based in London. And like I said, UK books, I love the atmosphere that they create. And she works at a bookshop, of course. She is struggling with her magical powers. She has to keep her stuff secret. She doesn't like her boss. She's kind of feeling burnt out. And then she kind of has to end up proving her magic to a coven of witches in order to keep her magic. And she's about to turn 30, so it seems like a book of a lot of self-discovery, finding your self-worth, figuring out who you really are, that kind of thing. And of course, there's a little bit of romance built into this one as well. So it's based in the autumn, and it sounds pretty perfect. I'm pretty confident I'm going to love this book. So I'm excited to go on this journey with Belladonna, see how she rediscovers her magic and kind of finds herself. Yeah, I was so excited to get this one last Christmas. Why have I been denying my fiction-loving self, guys? Why? I don't know. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about it's actually not this one. This is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, which I think I said that right. I'm so sorry if I didn't. I did read this one, and I love it. It's so good. It's just such a wholesome, witty read full of endearing characters that, yeah, you just can't help but kind of fall in love with. And I loved this one. So this one I do recommend because I read it. But what I want is her next book. I think it's called A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. And I don't actually have it yet. And it's the only book that I am allowing myself to buy this autumn because I have a stack, as you can see. These aren't even all of them that I own but haven't read yet. So I'm not letting myself buy any new books this autumn except for this one. And yeah, A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping is, I'm pretty sure, the name. And it was released not very long ago. The witchy community has loved this book, and the other one had a lot of hype around it. So you guys probably have already heard of it. Maybe some of you have read it. Anyways, I'm going to allow myself to buy it because I don't actually own it yet, but it is on my list. So even though I don't have the physical book yet, I wanted to mention it. And like I said, if you haven't read this one, I recommend. It was really, really cute and just, yeah, such a wholesome witchy read. So good. Okay, so those are the new books I'm going to read this autumn season. And it was, how many do I have? 9 books. I should totally be able to read 9 books by Yule time. I think that's what, 12 weeks away or so. So that's about one-ish, almost a book a week. So if I actually give myself the time to read that I want to give myself the time to read this autumn, I should be able to read all of these before we get to Yule, which means I can put new books on my Yule list, right? So just a little bit more incentive to make time to read. Anybody else schedule themselves time to read and then something gets in the way? Because that happens to me more often than I would like it to. So anyways, yes, those are my TBRs for the autumn season. I mentioned at the beginning I was going to give you guys 2 series that I have read and absolutely love as suggestions for you to possibly read this autumn season. And the first one is a series by Nora Roberts, because this series is just, it's one of my favorite witch series like ever that I've ever read. I have read it 3 times. I'm pretty sure. I've read it 3 times. So this is the Cousins O'Dwyer trilogy by Nora Roberts. It has 3 books. The covers are all just so nice and have like cozy cottage witch vibes in all 3 of the covers, which I love. So book 1 is The Dark Witch. Book 2 is Shadow Spell. And book 3 is Blood Magic. And this book takes place, these books, sorry, take place in Ireland. And they actually inspired me on my first trip to Ireland to visit County Mayo, which is where they take place, and to stay at Ashford Castle, which plays a part in the beginning of the book. And I did that, and it was just such a good decision. It was such a gorgeous area and such a gorgeous place to stay. We only stayed 1 night because it was expensive, but it was a splurge that was well worth it. Anyways, so I fell in love with all the characters in these 3 books, and it centers around character Iona, and she, of course, moves from her home, I think in America, to Ireland, County Mayo, where she goes to find her cousins, hence the name, the Cousins O'Dwyer trilogy. And she's only ever heard about her ancestry and stuff from her nan. So she goes to kind of find her roots and start a new life for herself. And of course discovers that her family is part of like an ancient curse, and they have to beat this very evil warlock sorcerer. And there's of course romance because it's Nora Roberts, and there always is. It's so good. I can't. If you've read this series, again, let me know in the comments, and let me know if you liked it as much as I did, because I just adore these 3 books, and I do highly, highly recommend. There's magic, there's familiars, beautiful atmosphere, mystery, adventure, danger even, and yeah, it's got all the things. At least for me, ticks all my boxes, so I do recommend giving it a try. And the other series that I really want to recommend to you guys, I read many, many moons ago. 12 years ago. These series are not new. These are not new books, but they may have been ones that did not make it onto your radar, which is why I'm bringing them up. I just wanted to share a couple of my favorites. So the next one is a bit of a bigger series. The initial series has 5 books, and it's the Fever series by Karen Marie Moning. And you guys, this series has everything. Fairies, magic, romance, takes place in Dublin. So the first 5 books, there's Dark Fever, Blood Fever, Fae Fever, Dream Fever, and Shadow Fever. And I say the first 5 books because the series kind of extends, and there's other books that have come from this original 5 that are part of the Fever series as well. But I'm only going to talk about the initial series today because I think I have at least like 4 other ones that are based on these characters. But it all started with these ones, and the series starts centered on a main character named Michaela, and she goes to Dublin from the States to find out what happened to her sister, because her sister was murdered in Dublin and they don't know what happened, basically. So she goes for answers, and you know, she finds magic and romance and danger and fairies and a lot of stuff she never could have imagined are real. So I mean, it's 5 books, so the story is quite in depth. The first 5 I have read twice, and I wasn't very careful with them. I used to bring them with me on the subway to work. Like, they're worn. Any spare second I had, I was reading when I was into this series because it was just so good. So if you like fairies, magic, Ireland, romance, Michaela is a really spunky and headstrong, fierce character who I love, and I love all the other characters as well, including her love interest. And it's really great. So highly recommend. If you haven't read it yet, perhaps you might want to put it on your own autumn TBR list. And that's it. Those are my own personal books I'll be reading and my recommendations to you guys. And perhaps, I don't know, later on, maybe in December or something, I'll do like a review of what I thought about the books. I don't tend to do book reviews because everyone likes different things. Like, everyone really likes different things. And a book that maybe I didn't love so much might be loved by a lot of other people. So I don't know, maybe I'll just do like a recap of like what ones were my favorite that I read over the autumn. Maybe I'll do that in December. Anyways, I would love if you would comment below. Let me know a book that you're going to be reading this autumn season, or many, because I would love more suggestions. I always am on the lookout for witchy fiction to add to my collection. And you know, if I'm going to read all these this autumn, I'm going to need to put some new ones on my Yule wish list. So drop your recommendations in the comments. I would really, really love to see them, and I'm sure other people would as well. And thank you so much for joining me today for this little cozy book session. And as usual, I'll link my Instagram, my blog and such, my spellbook details down below. I'm also offering a few mentorship spaces for October, which is something I've never offered but people have asked for. So I'll put the details for the mentorship down below as well. Or my spellbook, the October editions that are coming out, divination, sound magic. So if you're interested in those things, it's only $5 a month, cancel anytime. Yeah, so I'm going to put all that down in the description for you guys. And yes, please don't forget to write your recommendation in the comments, because like I said, I always love to hear them. Thank you so much for joining me right till the end of the video. I am wishing you a beautiful, magical autumn week ahead, because we are now officially in autumn. We weren't on my last video yet, and then I got sick. I'm still a little sniffy, and I missed my video last week, which was a bummer because I had this whole autumn equinox video planned, but I just couldn't. I was down pretty bad, guys. Anyways, on the mend, just freezing in my house, but I am sending you many blessings for a beautiful week ahead, and until next time, I'll be seeing you very soon.